Merab Dvalishvili is injured. Again. In the build up to his Sean O'Malley rematch, he has an injury. Now, at this point in Merab's career, I would be worried if he wasn't getting injured into lead ups to fights because he's been looking phenomenal with injuries. He had a serious rib problem against Umar, he had a serious gash, an open wound on his leg, he had a few other issues, and in the build up to the first O'Malley fight, he had a huge cut on the bridge of his eyebrow, obviously, which healed in time. O'Malley didn't end up opening up the cut as Merab won that fight. You know, he had a few very dominant rounds, especially rounds 2 and 4. One is a swing round, and O'Malley won rounds 3 and 5. So, it was a very close fight, and that is why Sean O'Malley is getting this rematch, because, first of all, weirdly enough, it's the most compelling matchup to make within the top 10 of bantamweight because O'Malley does genuinely have the best chance of beating Merab. Does he deserve it? No, he definitely doesn't. I mean, you can't say O'Malley deserves this shot. However, in retrospect, it's a good matchup to make. In hindsight, this is the one that we knew was going to happen. Merab's broken his toe. Yes, his pinky toe. However, it's a broken bone. Will it play on his mind? No. Obviously Merab's coach came out. He was doing an interview on Submission Radio and he said, look, it's nothing. It's not going to affect any game plan. Merab is one of the best in the world. On fight day, he's just excited to fight, excited to get in there. That stuff doesn't play on Merab's mind. And to be honest, I'm going to obviously make a very in-depth, detailed prediction and breakdown like I do before most main events. Merab is a machine. His nickname is the Machine and he genuinely is just an absolute beast. He's a beast of a man, he's a beast of a human being, and I am very, very curious to see how he does within this rematch because, it's Merab's first rematch. O'Malley had one rematch previous, which was against Marlon Chito Vera. Obviously, the first fight ended funny, so they had to just redo it, when it made sense, and obviously O'Malley went out there, showed his dominance, showed his class amongst the elite in the division. However, I have a funny feeling Merab is one of those guys that you need to feel his power, you need to feel his pace, you need to feel the pressure he brings, and then you reevaluate and you can take another swing at it in a different regard. And I feel like Piotr Jan will come out and look a lot better against Merab. I feel like O'Malley's going to look a lot better against Merab, but he might not. I feel like if Henry Cejudo was to fight Merab again, it would go the same way, but there would be a few adjustments where you're maybe landing a little bit more, or like you're making Merab take a back step just slightly more than usual. My point I'm trying to make is, I'm just breaking the news. Merab's has a broken toe. Merab has injuries going into this fight, and I just want to sit and break down this fight a wee bit for you folks. So, look, New Jersey, Merab's hometown. He came out and he did an interview with Lion Fart Smith. Yes, I said Lion Fart because truly that man has no heart. And he did another one with Submission Radio. Can I just say, Submission Radio have been phenomenal lately, just getting good guests on. They always seem to be first to it. I think it's because they're like Switzerland, they have no favourite, they have absolutely no bias within their conversations, which is really good. Two Australian guys do it, fucking great interviews, I really enjoy listening to them. They're always quite long as well, they're always like half an hour long, which is really good. I have a feeling Sean O'Malley gets it done. I truly have a feeling O'Malley will catch him this time. It's very difficult to go 50 minutes in a cage with Sean O'Malley, which is, they went 25 the first time. This could be another 25. It's very difficult to spend that amount of time in front of Sean O'Malley and you don't get stung with something big. You don't get cracked with something big. It's very difficult, and it's unusual if O'Malley doesn't catch you with a big knee or a big shot and doesn't hurt you. But even if he doesn't hurt you, it's unusual not to be cracked like that, and then that might make you cautious and steal around. O'Malley did not earn any respect in the first fight. In the last round, he kicked to Merab's body, hurt Merab to the body, very deep, very goofy few kicks to the gut. Great. I'd expect him to come out and maybe utilise them a wee bit more. But there's always the chance of Merab's not expecting that. You can catch the kick and run you into the fence and hold you. O'Malley had a really bad hip. He had a torn labrum. If you grapple too hard, that becomes affected. It becomes agitated. You're in pain for a few days. You're stiff all of a sudden. You're not moving as well. Would explain why he wasn't as fluid. The sphere, different layout. The walkout was different vibe to it, different energy. A lot of these things play into fights. And if you guys have never competed before, obviously I've competed quite a few times in places like Thailand, where you have a wee bit of a crowd and you have a wee bit of an energy, and if you have a way of how you think it's going to play out, or how the arena's going to look, or how you're going to be feeling beforehand, and then you're not feeling that way, maybe it does affect your performance a wee bit. It zaps the gas tank a wee bit more, whereas Merab, I think he just enjoys getting in there. He's just excited to fight. The weight cut is the fight before the fight, and a lot of the time with people like Merab and O'Malley, like, they're calm as soon as the weight's made. It's like, okay, we can now go in flow state and have fun and see what happens. And I'm very much looking forward to this main event. It got a lot of hate, but I mean, if they make Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez, this main event is like fucking 10 times better than that, because first of all, O'Malley is the most compelling matchup for Merab, because it's like O'Malley brings such a difficult skill set to deal with. Can Merab do it again? That's exciting. What will O'Malley change? That's fucking exciting. O'Malley is a big name. If O'Malley goes out and knocks out Merab, Umar versus O'Malley, probably not. Who's next? Who do we have next? Piotr Jan O'Malley 2 for the belt in maybe a December? Insane. O'Malley's back to it. 2 fights a year as a champion. He's only 30. He won't be 31 until October, which is relatively soon. Now I say it out loud. Haven't seen O'Malley since last September. How the fuck's he going to look? How the fuck is he going to look? And I think that would be the perfect strength of schedule. The winner, I know Merab wants to fight again in September. Merab wants to fight in Mexico. And he did say to the UFC, look, I want to be fucking busy. And they might say, look, Merab, we can squeeze in 3 fights this year. But Merab has a very special ability and a very special attribute as a champion that allows him to fight 4 times a year. That attribute is they're okay putting Merab in a co-main event slot, whereas you have someone like an Islam Makhachev or a Bilal. I say Bilal as if he's a star. An Islam Makhachev who, you can't put Islam in a co-main event, whereas Merab's not too big of a name and he wants to be busy. So Yair versus Volk, main event September. I don't like that. Oh, but Merab versus Piotr Jan 2's in the co-main event. That spices the card up. That gives us a bit more of a buzz. 2 main title fights. We'll watch both of them. Then all of a sudden Merab's headlining December. Trilogy versus O'Malley. Do you know what I mean? But obviously if O'Malley goes out there and wins by knockout, Merab will have to take some time off. And that might be him. I was watching O'Malley versus Merab 1, and I was like, how the fuck do you deal with a wasp just bouncing around you like that? He was just bucking himself about, and O'Malley was like trying to track him like, fuck, if this guy doesn't slow down, I'm in deep shit here. And he stopped bucking himself about as much, But what I think, if O'Malley ends up being taken down, get in guard and elbow him to fuck. Cut him open. Make his face mush. He is very susceptible to being split open. Elbow him from bottom. Don't try get up. Do more fucking damage. Elbow him to fuck from the bottom position. He does no damage from top. Judges will be sat there like, O'Malley has 50 total strikes this round compared to Merab's 1, yet Merab has 4 minutes of control time. What the fuck do we do from here? It's one of these things of where if you split him open and cover one eye or something and you feint him out and you catch him on that side of the face, a doctor stoppage is very fucking likely for O'Malley versus Merab 2. Trust me. A doctor stoppage is a very likely outcome here in terms of O'Malley's favour. If Merab's eye swells up, if he's cut, if the bridge of his nose is cut open, they will give this to Sean. I promise. If it's round 3 and it's been an even fight, they will just give it to O'Malley. If Merab is destroying him with a fucked up face, they will not stop it. But if it's an even fight or O'Malley's just getting the better of him and the cut's getting slightly worse, they will just call it. Because there is bias. And there's bias from judging, there's bias from officials, there's bias from fans. And no matter how many people like to admit it or not admit it, that is how the sport works. So, I would like to hear your guys' opinions on this fight. I personally think Merab gets it done again. But there is a huge part of me that kind of knows O'Malley will win. I just, not even because stars are aligning that way, because O'Malley's had his moment, I just feel like it's so fucking tough to go 25 more minutes with O'Malley once he's felt your pace, felt your range. He's now even better coming into this fight. I know how good O'Malley is. Does he reign a long time as champion again? If he's got the favourable matchups, he might get 1 or 2 more fights at bantamweight and then move up. and then call it a day, because he is a millionaire. He's probably got 10 mil in the bank right now. He's building a house in Montana. He's got his... I've listened to Tim Welch a lot, and I listened to Tim Welch's podcast, which is O'Malley's coaching. Let me know what you guys think. I'm kind of leaning O'Malley, like, round 4, doctor stoppage. Maybe Merab's eyes swollen up a wee bit, like Ortega versus Max. O'Malley's taking over a wee bit. He's looking on top of the world, and then they call it. And fans are a bit like, fuck, you should have let it continue, but they understand. Fuck, maybe I'll go Sean O'Malley. I don't know. This is a toss-up, and everyone's saying, oh, Merab. Sean O'Malley, if he landed one more big punch in round 1, would have won that fight. It was 2-2. It was 3-1 going into the 5th. O'Malley won the last round. 3-2. And the cardio machine was the one running from O'Malley, and O'Malley stung him to the body in the 5th. All these little things I think people are massively overlooking. I'm going Sean O'Malley. Fuck it. I'm going to make a breakdown on this. I'm going Sean O'Malley. The fight's not for 2 weeks. Next week, Monday, 1 week from today, you'll be receiving my breakdown. Thanks for all the support lately, folks. We're almost at 1.3 thousand subscribers. If you guys don't want to continue, unsubscribe. If you guys want to continue sending this channel to the moon and growing with myself, stay tuned for the next one. Subscribe.